no, Jenna, that team's quarterbacks. Nick, how many quarterbacks did I have in my career? You were the first one that broke this news
17.
to me. How many quarterbacks?
17
quarterbacks.
17 quarterbacks.
One good
This
one.
guy's on his way. Blake Bortles, Trubisky, Foles, Tyler Bray. Who's Tyler Bray? Chase Daniels, Chad Henne. Like, this dude needs to go find a quarterback. So my advice to Allen Robinson, wherever Deshaun Watson go, brother, you go. Call him right now. You guys get on the same page. I absolutely love this because this is a dude in Deshaun Watson that loves to extend plays. And when you have a big play receiver outside, a big dude that you can just throw the ball up to, almost like D-Hop, y'all had something like that, right? And you have a receiver, you can just throw it up, he can make the play for you. It's perfect for what they're trying to do together, what they can do together, excuse me. So I really like this. This is the most undervalued and underappreciated wide receiver in the National Football League, Nick.
Oh, sounds to me like Allen Robinson quickly approaching Brandon Marshall's 16-person top 5 wide receiver list. Keep an eye on that as the year develops. I am going to agree with you, but I am also going to agree with a disagreement. I 1,000% agree it should be about quarterback, because you're right. Going from Jacksonville to Chicago, the fact that he has had the success that he's had without ever playing a single game in his career with a good quarterback speaks to how good he is. But instead of waiting on where Deshaun's going to go, why wouldn't he just stay in the NFC North and go to Green Bay? Hey, Green Bay, make Aaron Rodgers happy. Give you a guy opposite Devontae Adams. So, Wilds, I say stay in the NFC North, go sign with Green Bay, the NFC North champions.
Ooh, I love this, Brandon, because we haven't talked enough about the Deshaun Watson effect, just like we talked about the Tom Brady effect. Tom Brady goes to Tampa, all we started hearing news reports very early, other guys are going to want to come play. And next thing you know, AB's there, and Gronk is catching 2 tutties in the end zone in the Super Bowl. So I think the Deshaun Watson effect is real. The question I have, Jenna, is the timeline of it. Since Deshaun Watson doesn't necessarily control when he's going to move, I think that puts Allen Robinson in a tough spot.
In a tough spot. Yep, agreed. All right, moving on to newly crowned Super Bowl champ Chris Godwin. So numbers dipped a little this year with Tampa Tom. Brandon, which team is the best fit for Godwin now?
Ooh, so this is interesting. They got 2 free agents out there, right? You got Chris Godwin, you got Antonio Bown, a.k.a. AB. So the Bucks, who do you take? Do you take Chris or do you take AB? You take Chris Godwin. You do. Look, AB, he has his ring. He's going to go get some money. It's a good fit for AB. It's probably the best fit, but AB's about his money. He's going to go get paid somewhere else. You take Chris Godwin because you need to keep someone on the other side of Mike Evans. I don't know the market for him, resident GM, but what I do like is that if you keep this team together, you can potentially repeat. You can go back to back. And this dude, he had a down year. Don't forget, he played with a dang broken finger for half the year. So I think that would be better. I like what they have created throughout this year, and I want to see them continue to build on that, Nick. So stay your butt in Tampa. You may take a million, $1.5 million cut, but it's okay. You'll make it back on the back end because Tom Brady's going to get you an endorsement deal.
Okay, well, an endorsement deal. Wouldn't even give him money for his jersey, so that would be a nice change from last season. You're right. Playing with Brady cost Godwin his number, cost Godwin his stats, but he did get a ring out of it. But I don't think he's going to be back with the Bucks, Wilds, because I think the Bucks are going to use their free agent money to keep that defense intact. Shaq Barrett needs to get paid, and Levante David, one of the most underrated and important pieces of that defense. He's a pending free agent as well, also a lifelong Buck. So I think that AB and Godwin both could be on the move. Brady doesn't care who he's throwing to anyway. Scotty Too Hotty's going to get some targets. Gronk's going to get targets. Mike Evans is a monster. So I think that I think he goes elsewhere, somewhere he can wear number 12 as well, by the way. Just saying.
Well, you know where you could wear number 12.
14 looks good on him.
Come over to New England. We haven't retired it yet. Our buddy Bill Barnwell had him going to the Patriots. 4 years, $78 million. Felt a little rich, but of course, then the domino falls. Hall of Famer Julian Edelman will get in the slot for Tampa. So I'd like to see him in New England, but I would also like a quarterback. I'd like a lot of things. So maybe Chris Godwin to New England. That's what I'm hoping for.
right, Brandon, you mentioned AB. Antonio Brown also a pending free agent. What team's the best fit for Antonio Brown, Brandon?
What did you say, Jenna? You said best fit, right? You got the resident GM going
Best
into the
fit.
cap space and what you got to do. Oh, you hear that, Nick? Best fit, brother. Okay? Stay with me right here. But anyways, look, I think the best fit is in Tampa. Okay? I do. But I got to go with the Baltimore Ravens here because I'm looking at from fit on the field and fit off the field. I think both of these guys are going to be desperate, both parties. I think that, you know, AB, he has a nice lifestyle. You got to go get that money. So you got AB, he's going to chase the bread, and the Ravens will be desperate to pay him because nobody wants to go there because of how they approach offense. They want to run the ball, and they want to run again, and they want to run a little bit more. So why would a wide receiver go here? So now you got AB out there, just got back into the NFL. He's excited to be back, and he also wants his money. So they have to give him the money. They will overpay in this situation, resident GM.
And that's it. By the way, this one I agree with 1,000%. And while he's a down the field threat, he's also exceptional at those choice routes, those intermediate routes where Lamar can excel throwing the football, but he's only been throwing it to tight ends on those routes in his young NFL career. So I love this fit for every reason Brandon just mentioned. I think that it's a need for both teams. AB's cousin is obviously already there. So for all those reasons, I like this one the most of all the ones so far, Wilds.
Okay, so here's the weird thing of why I'm not sold on this. Out of all the players on the Bucs, it feels like Tom Brady, outside of Gronk, Tom Brady's got the best relationship with AB. It's like, so maybe he's going to say, like, you know what, AB, you got a ring, go get your money. But I could see Tom Brady going to the GM and Arians and saying, like, hey, I still want this guy. It's the same reason I brought him to New England and I brought him down here. I've got a special connection with him, and we didn't really hit our potential, even though we won a ring. He only had a handful of touchdowns, missed half the games. So I could see Tom Brady going to the mattresses to keep AB in Tampa.
You don't want him back in New England?
Arians will be like, I gave it to him once. I'm not doing it twice. On to Kenny Golladay now. Only played 5 games this year. Went over 1,000 yards each of the last 2 seasons. So, Brandon, which team is the best fit for Kenny?
Oh, man, Nick, so you spent time in Houston, a lot of time in Houston covering those teams closely.
Yep.
Do you remember Gary Kubiak and Andre Johnson?
Of course.
Remember those days?
Yeah, of course.
1,500 here. He was Mr. 1,500. And what was that offense? It was the Mike Shanahan offense. And who's out there that continues to run that Shanahan offense? You know, you got the stretch right, stretch left, keeper left, keeper right.
I know the answer.
Kevin Stefanski, perfect fit for him.
Oh, okay, damn.
I love this.
I
see him in Cleveland. Here's why. And we'll get to this later. Odell Beckham Jr., alert. He's going to probably be gone. So now you got to have that big play receiver. You have Jarvis Landry, who's great possession. He's going to give you some big plays here and there. So he's the guy. But you need that person that can take the top off and make the big plays like we've seen Odell make game after game after game when he's healthy. So I like Kenny in this situation, Nick.
I like that as well. You're right. I'm maybe doing more resident GM stuff than fit stuff. I don't know if the Browns are going to allocate resources there, even if they lose Odell. I was thinking more along the lines of a team that doesn't even have a Jarvis Landry. A team like the Giants or the Colts that desperately need a #1 receiver. And so I wouldn't dislike this for the Browns, but if you look at the Colts, T.Y. Hilton's on the downside. The Giants, I know those are your guys, Brandon, but I don't know if they have a true #1 as much as you like Sterling Shepard. So I just feel like Kenny Golladay in one of those spots might make a little more sense, Wilds.
Yeah, I don't know if the Browns need another wide receiver, Nick. Remember, they got their offensive lineman that Baker literally met before the game, like, hey, how are you doing? I'm Baker Mayfield. Then they went out and won a game. So I just don't know if they're shopping for another offensive weapon for Baker or more protection, which we've seen some teams need to, like in the Super Bowl. If you lose someone, it's nice to have more protection, not naming any names, Nick.
I got a question for you. If Kenny G's going to Cleveland, then that means, like Brandon, you hinted at, they could